Ratna Aushadhi, gem medicine. After leaving Trijta Aghori, I spent a long time in various tantric practices. I used to control snakes and wear them around my neck, hypnotize people and make them do things. I was doing such acts. During those days, I came into contact with Sitarama Swami. That meeting completely changed the way I thought. Sitarama Swami was a great Vaishnav devotee. He was the chief priest at the Rama temple in Dudhiari village. That village was very big, and the temple there was very famous. In that temple stood a beautiful idol of Lord Sri Ramchandra. While wandering around, I reached Dudhiari village and stayed in that temple. On one side of the temple were guest rooms. I stayed in one of them. On the third or fourth day, after the evening Harthi was over, Sitarama Swami was leaving the temple, and I followed him. On the way, I introduced myself and explained the purpose of my travels. By that time, we had reached his house. When the topic of tantric practices came up, I performed 2 or 3 techniques in front of him. One of them was hypnotizing everyone in his house, his wife, his son, and his brother, right in front of him. Whatever I told them to do, they did it. Sitarama Swami watched everything silently, but there was no change in his expression. After bringing them back to normal, Swamiji stood up and said, "Come, let us go outside." I followed him. Outside the village, in a field, he sat down and asked, "What are you thinking about your future?" When I didn't answer, he continued, "Spending your life in these tantric practices is just wasting it. Your life is not meant for such small powers. You should dedicate yourself completely to Jyotisham, astrology, Kumar," he said. Then we talked for about an hour or so. The summary of that conversation was this: he wanted to learn tantric knowledge from me. In return, he would teach me astrology and Ayurveda. Swamiji was extraordinary in the field of healing, though I realized that only later. In the field of Ratna Aushadhi, gem-based medicine, he was truly unmatched. I can say that without hesitation. Swamiji's way of treatment was amazing. By looking at the patient's hand or horoscope, he would decide the treatment based on planetary positions and time periods, dasha. It was said that no one who entered Swamiji's house ever died of illness. Even the most severe diseases would be cured within a month or 2. He used to prepare special pills, called ghutika, corresponding to the 9 planets, Surya, Sun, Chandra, Moon, Kuja, Mars, etc. Not only that, he also prepared combined ghutikas like Shani Rahu Ghutika, Kuja Guru Ghutika, and even mixtures of 3 or 5 planetary gems. The main secret was the proportion, Nishpatti. By changing those proportions, he would vary the strength and effect of the medicine. I do not wish to hide the knowledge of how these planetary gem medicines were prepared. Here is the method. If one wishes to prepare medicine for any planet, one must take the gem corresponding to that planet, ruby for the sun, pearl for the moon, and so on. The gem should weigh between 3 and 7 carats. It must be genuine, pure, bright, and astrologically flawless. Then, take a clean glass bottle and wash it with pure alcohol. Pour about 2 grams of alcohol into the bottle and place the gem inside. Seal it tightly with a cork. Keep it for a fixed period of time. After that time, remove the gem from the bottle and pour into it tablets that can absorb all the alcohol. Then, pour them onto clean paper and let them dry, but only in the shade, not under sunlight. Once completely dry, store them in another clean bottle, labeling it with the name of the planet for which it was prepared. Many times, he would prepare medicines using 2, 3, or even 7 gems together. From my own experience, these medicines worked like divine remedies. For example, Chandra Ghutika worked like a miracle for heart attacks and heart diseases. Surya Ghutika worked well for nerve disorders. I once gave some of these medicines to a famous doctor to test on his patients. After using them, he told me, "If you give me the patent for these, I will become a millionaire and world famous." Diseases like cancer, leprosy, memory loss, asthma, insomnia, brain disorders, polio, tuberculosis, diabetes, nerve diseases, and hernia. I earned fame for treating all these. My success in curing these diseases and the honors I received across the country were all because of these medicines. The success of this method depends on understanding what stage the disease is in and which combination of gems to use. But all this credit truly belongs to Sitaram Swami, who treated me like his own son and shared this knowledge selflessly. He showed no greed while teaching me Ratna Aushadhi Vidya. Although Sitaram Swami had many virtues, he was also practical. He believed there were three ways to exchange knowledge: by giving knowledge in return for knowledge, by paying money, by offering service. After learning tantric sciences from me, only then did he begin to teach me the science of medicine. He didn't just learn tantra, he practiced it and tested it. Only after gaining confidence that the knowledge he learned from me was authentic did he start teaching me medical science. He wanted to master all three stages of Sammohana Vidya, hypnosis. His wish was to control even the hardest-hearted person as easily as one would control an animal. For that, he regarded me as his guru. Following my instructions, he performed intense and difficult practices and finally achieved his goal. One day, a strange incident occurred. These were the days when Sitaram Swami was learning hypnosis. At that time, he was still in the early stages. He had learned how to hypnotize a person, but he had not yet learned how to bring them out of hypnosis. During those days, his wife's younger sister, his sister-in-law, came to visit. She was about 17 or 18 years old and newly married. One morning, Sitaram Swami decided to test his hypnotic power on her. He performed the hypnosis technique on her name, and she became hypnotized, wandering around the house in that state. One day, Sitaram Swami's sister-in-law held his hand. That day, I was not in the village. Swamiji's wife saw this incident and immediately took her husband aside. She tried to explain to him about what is right and wrong. She also tried to advise her younger sister. But none of those words had any effect on the sister-in-law. Swamiji, feeling helpless, left the house and went outside. A few minutes later, the sister-in-law, who had searched all over the house for him, also came out to look for him. Sitaram Swami went to the temple. She followed him there. Seeing her, Swamiji became anxious. He told her to go back home, but his words had no effect on her. Swamiji then went to the meditation place behind the temple, a small hut called Tapovanam. She followed him there too. At that moment, Swamiji really began to panic. What if someone saw them both there together? Quietly, Swamiji came back home and sat inside. But the sister-in-law followed him even there. He went upstairs to his room and locked the doors from inside. All through the evening, she secretly knocked on the door many times, but he never opened it. His wife grew extremely worried. She wondered, what is he doing inside? Did he harm himself? Did he commit suicide? She too knocked on the door many times and begged him to open it. But Swamiji said only one thing: I will not open the door until Narayana, referring to me, returns. By the time I returned to the village, it was almost 7 in the evening. Until then, his wife had been crying non-stop. Swamiji was still locked in his room, and the sister-in-law lay on the floor, not eating or drinking anything. Swamiji's wife told me everything that had happened. As I was walking upstairs, I saw the sister-in-law coming down, disappointed after knocking on the door again and again. I called out to Swamiji. The moment he heard my voice, he quickly opened the door, pulled me inside, and locked it again. He said, "Since morning I haven't eaten anything or slept. My honor is drowning in the Ganges." Then he explained everything, how he had experimented with hypnosis on his sister-in-law. Even in such a tense situation, I couldn't help but smile. "You will learn the Sammohana mantra, the mantra for hypnotism, but not the Samohana Uchthana mantra, the mantra to reverse hypnosis. Half knowledge always leads to such trouble, I said. I then performed the Uchthana process to break the hypnosis. As soon as it was done, his sister-in-law regained her normal state. When she realized everything that had happened since morning, she felt deep shame and sorrow. The next day, she went back to her own village. Once the truth became clear, Swamiji's wife's suspicions about him disappeared, and peace returned to the household. Swamiji's knowledge in the field of medicine was extraordinary, almost supernatural. He was an expert in Nadi Pariksha, pulse diagnosis. By checking the pulse, he could tell what stage an illness was in. He even wrote a complete book on Nadi Pariksha. It was a marvelous work, about 800 pages long, in which he compiled the subtlest details, experiments, and experiences related to pulse diagnosis. This book on Nadi Vijnana, the science of pulse, is truly one of a kind. There is no other text in the world that can compare to it, and that is not an exaggeration. He gave me that book on the condition that I would never publish it. Later, after my repeated requests, he agreed, but with one rule. The book should not be published while I am still alive. So, it was decided that the book would be published 1 year after Swamiji's Brahmalina, his merging with the divine. I still do not know what his true purpose was in giving such an instruction.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon for notifications. If you liked the video, please press like button and share it with your friends. Thank you.